In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss working with text and objects together. If you'd like to follow along, go into the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0902, Get All Wrapped Up in Text Wraps, Part 1, and just click Open. Why don't we start with Text Wrap Basics? If you don't have your Text Wrap panel open, just click on it to open the text wrap panel. I'm going to go to this red text frame with the white lettering in it and just select it with my selection tool. And I'm going to click on the second wrap command, which is wrap around bounding box. The first command is no text wrap, which is what it is by default. I'm going to click on wrap around bounding box, and you can see that it is wrapping around the bounding box of that object. The next button is Wrap Around Object Shape. Let me click on that. And you can see nothing changed. And that's because the shape of this object and the bounding box are both rectangles. So either one will work with a rectangle. Let me go back to Wrap Around Bounding Box, because I wanted to show you that you can offset the wrap away from the object. If I click the up arrow next to the top offset, you can see that it's adding an extra little line there. Why don't I zoom in a little bit so we can see what's going on? I'm just going to click and drag with my zoom tool across the width of my page. And you can see that I can enter different offsets for the bottom, for the left side, and the right side. Or I can make them all the same just by simply clicking on the little broken link. And now it has a 1/16 of an inch wrap all the way around. Let me scroll down the page a little bit, and I'm going to select my ellipse, and I'm going to apply a wraparound bounding box. And you can see now it's wrapping the bounding box. Probably not what I want to do. It's more likely that I actually want to wrap around the shape of the ellipse. So let me click on Wrap Around Object Shape. And now you can see it is wrapping that shape. But if I want to offset it, you can see there's only one offset field available. That's because with Wraparound Object Shape, there is only one offset. It's the same all the way around. So let me click my up arrow, and you can see now I'm getting an offset, that little extra line there that's showing me the offset away from the wrapped object. Let me scroll up just a little bit further again to get back to my text frame that says Wrap Biker Sub. And I'm going to select that with my selection tool. And we're going to talk about the next kind of a wrap, which is Jump Object. If I apply a jump object to this rectangle, nothing seems to happen. But watch what happens if I just move it a little bit towards the left or right. It's now jumping the object in both of the columns that wrap object is in. As soon as the offset of the wrap is no longer in that column, it won't wrap it. Let me drag this back into position. The next wrap is actually jump to next column. Why don't I apply that and we'll see what happens. It doesn't allow any text under the wrap object. So that could be useful if, let's say, I have some sort of a picture or a graph or something at the bottom of a column, and I want to make sure that there's no text under that object. I would apply jump to next column. That assures there's no text under the object. If I move the object down, you can see it's allowing more text above it. Let me go back to my bounding box wrap, and we'll continue. I'm going to fit the entire page in the window by, on a Mac, pressing Command 0, on a PC, Control 0. You can see that there is an object, this half of an ellipse to the right of my page, and I can't select it with my selection tool, and that's because it's a master page object. Let me go into my master page by clicking on my Pages panel to open it up, and then double-clicking on my A master. You can apply a wrap to a master page object. So I'm going to select that and go back into my text wrap panel and apply a shape wrap. Let me offset that wrap just a bit. I'm going to click my up arrow a couple of times, go back to my Pages panel, and double-click on page 1. And now the text on this local page is wrapping that master page object. That is very useful. There's something that I skipped in the text wrap panel. Why don't we get to it right now? I'm going to scroll down to the next page. And I'm going to click on this graphic of the silhouette of a motorcycle. I'm just going to click on that link symbol to select it. I'm going to apply a wrap around object shape. And you can see it's just pushing the text off to the side. I have to change my settings. It's wrapping around the bounding box of this Illustrator object. Not what I want. Let me choose instead something called Detect Edges. What that is doing is finding the outside edge of this graphic. The only thing that was in the Illustrator file was actually this one shape. So the edge of that shape is what it's finding. But this is still not what I want. I want the text to actually be confined to the inside of this graphic. That's where invert comes in. Let me click invert, and now you can see the text is running inside of the wrap object. Really kind of cool. We're going to continue to discuss wraps in the next lesson.